Hello. Okay. So, it's Friday. That's cool. Hey, Codephobia, how are you? Oh, I got a freaking bash spot on my arm that itches now. It's just great. For real. They just let anybody on this free website. Oh, wait, this shit ain't free, is it? People pay for it. So, how am I doing? Scatterbrained. Playing with inversion of control again, which seems to be, in some way or another, more the bane of my existence than the benefit of my existence. If that makes sense. Bobby knows some of this. What do we used to use? Castle. That's what it was. Something, IoC, Castle, inversion control, rip your brains out, put your brains back in for your app. So that's what I've been fighting with. I've been playing with dry IoC, trying to figure out how to do things with that. Maybe y'all can help me today. I still don't know. I don't really know how I feel about a lot of this stuff. It feels like, I know what it feels like. I know exactly what it feels like. IoC feels like an anti-pattern of object-oriented programming based on the limitations of attempting to organize around people communication in Western European project management. That's what it feels like. Does that make sense? Did I just say something that just sounds absurd? It made sense to me. God. Yeah. So anyway, here's my dry IOC example that I'm about to get into here. Maybe y'all can help me make more sense of this. Here's the repo, by the way. Dry IOC, what do they call it? Dry IOC is a fast, small, full-featured IOC framework for .NET, right? And it just hit me. It's a glass of wine because you need to drink wine while you're implementing your IOC implementation, right? Supports all the .NET bits. Oh, look, they're actually very specific. They state the .NET standard is what they implement, which is probably more efficient than stating it supports .NET Core. But, .NET versioning, super simple. But hey, it's supposed to just be 5.0 when it gets to be 5.0. I don't know. I tell everybody to go talk to Imo. If you don't follow Imo on, I'm probably saying his name wrong now that I'm goofing around. Yeah, anyway, if you use .NET and you're ever confused about the versioning, go bug Imo on Twitter. This is his Twitter. Wait, what? That's not his Twitter. Why won't it autocomplete? Auto do this. You've got to be kidding me. Let's just do this. We'll do mo.net. There he is. Oh, he's Terrajobst on Twitter. That's what he is. That's why it doesn't autocomplete. So follow Imo. Oh, whoops, here it is. Hey, are y'all still watching? It says I have 0 viewers. I guess the stats page is just working super great. I know I always have like 5 million viewers, so obviously the Twitch page is wrong. There we go. Oh, it just went up. It has more than one person now. I also got to get that bot working that does the detect other live coders. Have you seen that? I am not myself, Codephobia. Both of y'all are in there, right? Y'all both live coder in the live coders group, right? Yeah. So see, that'd be cool. It'd pop up and say, since y'all messaged, it would say, you know, follow y'all's channels and stuff. I think y'all can post in there anyway. So if you want to, just post in there, and then it'll be in there for all longevity. When I put this video to VOD, who's talking to me? Will only watch Twitch stream if it is you acting out gore videos. Dude! Never knew. Yep. This needs to be done. It'll happen in the coming future. So I don't know if y'all know who Gore is. Quick lesson here, right before we get into the codes. Gore video. There we go. Yeah, I don't know, right? So fun. So fun. Yep. So anyway, let me get some tunes going here, and then we'll roll into this shindig. Come on, pretzel. Get in here. There we go. This looks good. Let's just go with this one, huh? Is it even? Oh, there it goes. How's the volume? Is it too loud for y'all? So weird. Like I control the volume here, but really the volume's controlled via OBS. Goofy stuff. The other funny thing is like, for me, in these, like I can't even hear myself talk. I just look at the monitor of where my voice is coming through the mic, and it says I'm up in the yellow and the red, but otherwise, like I can't hear myself talk. It's all metal in here. It's because I like to model reality. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? Writer, I have nothing. I just started a console project. Simple thing, right? You know, new yeah, .NET Core console application, blah, blah, blah. Did a Git repo. It's .NET Core 3.0 using the latest bits. And let's see if we can do something here. One of the other things, I found what appears to be a pretty good blog entry here by, who's this, Rufio? This looks pretty good. So we'll go through this and see what we can get working or not get working. Oops. There we go. All right. So introduction to inversion control with C# with dry IoC. First off, I guess take a sip of the wine. And that's your benchmarks. Oh yeah, dry IoC is also supposed to be one of the faster ones. Yeah, whatever though. I'm not even worried about speed. It's not that important. Once the stuff's loaded, it gets in memory anyway, and you know. What's low? The IoC speed. Oh, and here's the two patterns. Occurring over constructors. That's pretty cool. Oh, it just defines curring. Oh, you want it louder? I can make it louder. Definitely can make it louder. How's that? Much better? Maybe even like that. Cool. Where did my page go? Start. All right, I created this console, but then, like it says in this blog entry, the most basic use case of IoC is when you're resolving an interface to a class implementation noted without IoC. You need to know the exact implementation of this interface whenever it's needed. So, just based on that, I'm going to say a few words. This is what drives me nuts. It's too loud. It's too low. Yeah, I know. It's hard to get the volume right. I'll just keep it right there. But, yeah, so, IoC. As it says in this blog entry, without IoC, you need to know the exact implementation of a class that that you're resolving to an interface. This is already a weird paradigm. So you got a class and its implementation sitting somewhere. It has to be somewhere. And you would know all of it once it's pulled. Maybe not me, the programmer, but the program knows all of it. So why do we pretend that we don't have it? It has to be there. That boggles my mind. Like, one of the basic precepts of IoC just doesn't seem to jive. Like, you're gonna have that code at some point. Just reference the code. But I digress. All right, so in here, let's see here. That's what I just mentioned. So instead of having to do this, yeah, it doesn't even. I don't know, it doesn't even have to tightly couple your code. Based on, like, I mean, in some situations, it's going to tightly couple your code, right? Why do I want to destroy IoC? Because the logical structuring of why it needs to exist is broken, and also I find it's way too costly for a company. Over time, it's just too costly. You can't effectively maintain it over time with different people looking at it all the time, etc. Right, so here's the thing, right? So let's say you got a Go program and you're using an interface there, which is like method interface implementation, right? So if you're implementing that and you have IoC and you followed convention in Go, why would you need to arbitrarily load that method contract interface multiple times, or arbitrarily in your code to keep it loosely coupled? You already have the interface. That keeps it loosely coupled. And I don't see why in here, just declare the interface and then extract it when you need it, right? That's what IoC is supposed to be doing, but there's a bunch of infrastructure around it. Why do we even need to do that these days? Like, with all the other abstract notions of pulling methods and or functions, whatever we want to call them, at runtime, why can't we just do that now? Attach a method after the fact whenever you need it. Seems like there's a better way to do this than implement an entire IoC framework that something can't introspect against, and then by proxy, all the developers that have to look at a base of code after the fact, after it's been created, they have to now know like a full spectral architecture, if that even exists in diagrams or documentation, and then they have to know here in the brain how to go back to the actual class to determine its implementation, to determine its methods, to change or modify it as needed, and to determine what's happening if an error occurs. Because a lot of the times when you have a bunch of things shoved into an IoC container, etc., and some of that peripheral code changes, and all of a sudden an error bubbles up, what do? You have to go back to that project, back to that code base to determine what's wrong with that specific class. You can't debug it in the application effectively then. So if somebody has no tribal knowledge and they're just starting on a project, there's no easy way to go and introspect back against this stuff and determine where things are occurring, what methods are executing. You have to manually go through the code, read each little bit of it, and then go look through like the container list and determine where all that stuff's getting loaded. And then you have to go back through. So like you have to have a lot of peripheral knowledge about how IoC works, how an IoC container system and framework works. And then you have to have the tribal knowledge of that system to go back and look through all of it. You can't trace back through and introspect against simple implementations of code when IoC is in the way. That's my complaint with IoC. Yeah, it's kind of like that. The key difference in cost, and this is why I say IoC costs a lot of money to keep, maintain, and implement, is IoC is kind of assuming a little bit that you probably have the different injections and stuff. Yeah, just use poor man injection, or like use what half the JavaScript world does, right? Like, I mean, most of that stuff is just like you take it and you attach functions as they're needed, etc. You use it with various assumptions. I mean, I know it's frustrating too, but both solutions are frustrating. One is way more frustrating. Hello, Clarkio and crew. I was just seeing a bunch of stuff on Twitter about, everybody loving you, man. I appreciate it. I love you too, man. Thanks for joining into the pit here of code as I sit here and complain about IoC. Complain about IoC. English is hard for me sometimes. It's unfortunate that it's my only language. Yeah, extinction methods. That's basically what JavaScript is anyway, in a sense. I mean, you can just attach stuff whimsically all over the time, all over the place at any time. I mean, you can, y'all know, when you write JavaScript. Look at there. Hello, Robert Tables. Thanks for that resub or continuant sub. And thanks for the follow, everybody. Awesome. Nothing like a good raid in the morning, mid-rant about inversion control to really kick off my day. That kicks ass. That seriously kicks ass. Oh, man. Also, for everybody that joined earlier via Twitter, not Twitch, Twitter, all these twit things, right? Hey, me, thanks for diving into the code pit. We're moshing around here all the time. So yeah, Sean T. Allen, or as I refer to him, Sean, made a statement that he will only watch a Twitter stream if, y'all ready for this? That's right, if I act out gore videos. And I have made a promise. As you can see right here, I have made this promise that I will act out gore videos in the future. That's right. So I'm going to watch a gore video and I'm going to act it out over here, right here in this corner. It'll be hilarious. And then we'll write code. I don't know if y'all have seen gore videos, but God, go watch them. They're the most ridiculous thing ever. Me, that meh. Oh, meh. Yeah, meh, underscore. Yeah, meh, underscore. That is kind of my gruff, right? Kind of my complaint is, oh, meh. Okay, meh. Yeah, I got it. I'm down with that. I like that, Nick. Saddam Agogo. Yes, Obsidian Talon. Exactly. So I'm gonna act that out. I'm gonna act out gore videos about what I don't like about IoC frameworks. So yeah, I guess that's really what my complaint is the excess of IoC frameworks, which I guess is fitting that I'm sitting here trying to figure out dry IoC, because it's kind of a minimalist IoC framework as far as like C# is concerned. There's some that have just tons of features and cruft all around them. Yeah. This is because of the movie Empire Records. Oh my God, that's right. They had like a cameo in there, huh, Frackberg? Yeah. Oh God, I forgot totally about that movie. When did that movie come? That was like a 90s movie, right? Yeah. Spring annotation to that thing. Right. Right. So that's one of the things. With IoC frameworks, one of my big complaints is you just have to learn a lot of frameworky knowledge, but you have to learn a lot of knowledge about how to specifically do it in your particular language with that framework. 1995. Damn, the thing is ancient. That's an ancient movie now. So like grunge rock stuff. I was gonna say hippie, but I guess that's 70s. That's super, super ancient. But yeah, that movie was I don't even remember if it was good, but yeah, it had gore. I also remember there was that with the Pet Detective movie had freaking was it Cannibal Corpse? Like, oh wow, that was hilarious. Yeah, it was a fantastic portrait of 90s life though. Yeah, man, that's my sentiment. Like, just you don't need to uncouple that much. This just like I feel like this is part of the school of thought, using a heavy duty IoC framework and then very extensively decoupling your libraries and all of your stuff in your code, right? Like, it's usually your code that you're doing it with. It's not like a bunch of third-party code. It's just like pieces of an app that you're writing in a big enterprise application, which of course, initial root blame is how we structure enterprises and corporations. They're completely freaking bonkers how complex a lot of them are. It is a complex thing, but those are also more complicated than they need to be. So inherently, IoC is trying to model and compensate with loose coupling for future maintainability, theoretically, a complicated scenario in the first place that's arbitrarily complicated. So we're like, basically we're making up shit on top of making up shit on top of making up shit to then implement. And IoC frameworks, when you build thick on top of them and disconnect all this stuff, then you have all these little disparate pieces that end up being more tribal knowledge. And that's another thing. You have to have tribal knowledge to understand what to fix post facto. Like, once you've implemented this stuff, yeah, you end up in a pickle. Yep, in a pickle. Turtles all the way down, pickles everywhere. It's crazy. It's bootstrapping OG independence in large applications. Right. Well, inherently, there's another one of my complaints. We build too many large applications. We don't, as an industry, we tend to not build microservices that well, from what I've seen. Anecdotal here. Maybe some companies are making amazing microservices that are beautifully implemented, that work within their teams, that they share knowledge across teams and across within the team, and the tribal knowledge is minimal, and they document stuff, and it's beautiful. Beautiful, best ever, and they deploy it. I have very low confidence that this exists in the real world, though. Very, very low confidence. But anyway, I could rant for hours and just not do stuff. But let's try to implement something, shall we? So I know I'm probably gonna work myself into confusion, because I often do this on initial implementation of an IoC framework. And then after I get it working, I'm like, oh God, I'm dumb. This is how it all works. And then I get frustrated because I know I'm going to have to hand it off to somebody at some point, and that person is going to have hell trying to figure out everything and figure out the engineering practice behind it all. Not that we build applications is the big issue. It's more that we tend to make large classes with large feature set doing too much. Aren't you saying the same thing? In a big class, like a God class, that's an anti-pattern, right? That's a noted anti-pattern. In big applications, really, from the Unix world from back in the day, like when companies started pushing large enterprise applications, that almost immediately became an anti-pattern because it went against the premise of building Unix apps, building Unix CLI apps, etc. Of single app for single purpose. Keep it simple, minimalistic, etc. Learn how to use the system. Don't make the system like arbitrarily cruft together a bunch of crap and then end up with this unwieldy thing where one piece breaks and the whole system starts to fall apart. Of course, loose coupling is supposed to mitigate that too, but with an IoC application that is not mitigated. If something breaks in the app with IoC, your app is broken in that part. It's not like that just hides away. The whole myth about making it less frail that way is kind of goofy. It's like saying, say you build 5 microservices, one for user accounts and authentication, right? One for doing something within the domain, another for doing something in another domain. You implement that, right? Is that so? Why are you trying to figure out why IoC framework? You don't like it. Oh, just because I don't like something. Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody this story real quick. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean that I won't like it one day, or I don't like it for specific things, or that it doesn't have a value, right? Dino Head, thanks for joining the mosh pit. Welcome to the stream. Right. So I should delineate this. I'm a very nuanced person. We all are, really. But what I'm saying is I don't like it. I see it as this complex thing that has a lot of post effect, like beyond the cool implementation part. Because if I just look at technology from the perspective of like, do I like to do things with it and build arbitrary whatevers with it? IoC is freaking awesome then, right? Like I built a lot of really cool stuff with that. I built a lot of cool stuff with containers in IoC and in Docker, whatever. I've built a lot of cool technology in my career. I continue to build a lot of cool technology. But that doesn't mean when I step back and I'm like, all right, what is this technology for? A lot of it, bullshit. A lot of what we build in this industry ends up just being nothingness. And I like to step back every once in a while and say, all right, what does this do for the company or the organization that I'm building it for? What does this do for people? Like, how are the people interacting and using it, right? For example, yeah, exactly, temporary bullshit at that. But let's take 2 apps, for example. One app, which I have nothing to do with, is a infrastructure app. Let's say Chef. And recently they admitted to, just like a lot of companies, they are tools, or they build tools that are used by the community, and they find out, oh yeah, our tools are used to separate babies from their families. That's horrifying, right? That's like Nazi level horrifying. But not like they went out there and were like, we're going to make an app and some tooling and stuff that does all this arbitrary cool technical stuff and use it to separate babies from their parents. Nobody sat down and built any of that stuff with that notion, right? It happened because on the business side, things happen. Flip that around to another scenario. Company starts putting together some software to help track people in an emergency situation, okay? And it's not particularly that they built it just for an emergency situation. They did it for like medical groups, etc., to help track people that need to be tracked from a peripheral system. Some people might say, oh God, surveillance. But step back, this software ends up being used by like the Red Cross and other organizations during times of emergencies like hurricanes and typhoons, when it's very hard to track people just by getting them on a list or whatever. You need to track where they were last seen, or where you were trying to make sure that they're okay, and you're like, where were they last seen? Who last knew of their presence somewhere? Are they okay? Are they not okay? Are they in this medical tent or that medical tent? Super important software, right? I like to step back and think from that perspective. Like, what is my software going to be used for? And is it going to make it harder for people to continue its use or not? One of the things I see about IoC, outside of its technical use, is that it makes it harder for software developers to maintain something over time for people to use it effectively. Whether it's for, that Chef software stuff, where it's, somebody found out it's used for horrible things or used for good things. it makes it harder to use, period, or harder to maintain, period. So like over time, is it still usable? Hard to say, but it is more costly. It is more difficult for developers to just dive in when it's a bunch of stuff that's just spread all over the place. Because then you have this expectation and this need to have super good, effective, up-to-date documentation internally, and in an enterprise, that just doesn't happen on a regular basis. So there's my IoC complaint. In other news, I think it's fascinating how they're implemented. And it does fix, come on, screen, there we go. It does fix where you run into a lot of problems where you don't want to have to worry about the implementation of a thing at a particular time until you actually need it. Right? So, all right, so you go from this to this. So you register it, and then when you use it at time of use, damn it, I get the freaking hiccups. That's when you get all the, how do you say it? That's when the container with the object is loaded, right? And you get all the you get all the methods and the actual implementation of the class, which meets the contract, and it's instantiated into thingamahooey, and you do whatever you want to do with it, or whatever you need to do with it. Yeah, so you register it, and then boom, you implement it, right? So you end up with these 2 bits instead of this bit. This is considered loosely coupled. This is considered tight coupling, right? Oh, and also just to say, I'm open to being corrected about all this stuff. I'm just telling you what my understanding is of it after years of using this stuff. And I am by no means saying that I am like master inversion of control fella. So please correct me if I'm saying something super wrong. Service location pattern for resolving dependencies. If so, that stinks. Where is it? Hold on. I just pulled up some stuff that. Oh, here's. So they got composite pattern support. They got some pretty cool. This might not actually answer your question. I noted in their wiki they had some cool implementation examples here. So there's this decorators use here. So you're used in conjunction with that, especially with a factory method. Concepts can be extended further to cover more scenarios. So again, here's one of these things. Like I like decorator patterns. I think it's kind of neat. I often describe to people learning English, think of the English language as the decorator pattern, where you have a certain ordering rule, especially coming from like Russian or various languages from Asia. If you think of English and a lot of the Germanic-derived languages as a language with a decorator pattern, you start with a base and then you just add adjectives and add other verbs or whatever decorators to it. People usually kind of find that interesting. But yeah, so the decorator pattern is something here. Combining decorator with library like enables interception and AOP support. See, here we are coming back to this. Okay, I've done AOP too, aspect-oriented programming. Combining AOP and IOC and like all these arbitrary abbreviations, you end up with some pretty complicated, loosely coupled code. Somebody just getting thrown into something, or heaven forbid everybody that wrote something has left and then they get thrown into this code base. How are they supposed to know what the hell it does? Like you got to trace down the attributes that are written in AOP. Then you got to chase down where the objects are. You're talking about a just complete clusterfuck at that point. So that's kind of cool though. Logging, handler, decorator. And then what was the other one we were looking at? So there's that one. And then, composite pattern support. Wrapper by default supports composite pattern. Composite pattern is observed when service implementation depends on collection of other implementations of the same service. Right? Oh, so is that... It's almost like... it's like fake multiple inheritance. We expected as in composite will be composed of A1 and A2 objects, but not of composite itself, despite the fact composite is also an A. Including composite into AAS will produce infinite recursion in construction of object graph. Therefore, composite pattern may be looked at as a way to avoid such recursion by excluding composite from its dependencies. So is that saying it takes off? What? That was confusing. Yeah, they do it on purpose all the time. So here's the thing though, like if you go work in a big enterprise, I find a lot of this stuff, the thing is it's super confusing, right? And once you get it, it's like you have the tribal knowledge all of a sudden, right? And once you have the tribal knowledge, then you're good. And you can go to an enterprise and it basically becomes like a vacation job. Because all you got to do is understand the domain, know all this tribal knowledge, and then you basically sit around and discuss how to build stuff and then spend maybe an hour a day piddling around writing a little bit of code. I've seen very few enterprises that seem to be able to move forward with more than an hour a day of actually productively, legitimately writing code. Matter of fact, I am not myself can tell you about one of those companies me and him worked at where we actually wrote code for probably 4 hours a day, pairing, and we actually got shit done. And that was actually a lot of time to spend just writing code. But we'd talk to stakeholders, get everything clarified, and then we'd move forward. And sometimes we did some weird stuff like this. Like this one just seems like so much confusion. But again, big enterprise, once we got it figured out, we were able to move forward easily, be super productive, but kind of a vacation job. Like we were kind of we were the badass team. So like we didn't even need to do 4 hours. We could have done 2 and been doing as well as any other team. So I'm gonna shut up now. Might get myself in trouble. Oh, what am I saying? I'm always in trouble. Pretzel needs some new tunes. I've actually heard that one like 15 times. Some heavier rock too. It'd be good. Oh, Robert Tables. Yeah. With IoC, you get none of that, basically. That's one of the things that goes away, which also cracks me up, because in .NET land, one of the biggest things is all the power of the tooling around it. Like, that's the big Microsoft sell, is like, you don't have to think about too much peripheral stuff, because it's going to get filtered into your tooling, and you can just type, and like functionality is going to appear, and you can figure it all out that way. It's really great. I like that sometimes, especially if I'm just like, I'm building CRUD apps, and I know like I got to use these libraries to do these things, whatever, but I don't have to remember the methods. I don't have to remember the implementations too deeply, because autocomplete's going to tell me what's up, and then like ReSharper is going to fix my code when I write bad code, and I can just rip through it real easy. But yeah, dependency injection, IoC, etc., that stuff starts to disappear. So like if you don't have a tight grasp of your domain and what your libraries are, you lose a ton of that. Yeah, because your tooling can't introspect against libraries that aren't loaded until runtime. Right? Right, meh. Oh, I'm totally going to say your name all the time. Meh. I like doing that. It's like good vocal practice. Hey-oh, meh. All right, so let's see. We got singleton, first singleton, container resolve, first print thing. So let's see here. Let's see if I can confuse myself into implementing this. All right. Back up. All right, so if we do this, like let's have a class. Should we even put it in this namespace? I'm not even gonna put it in this namespace. Let's put it in a new one. I'm gonna kind of do this all in one file just so we can work through it with my crazy mentality here and see where we get, right? Namespace, the other classes for loose coupling. There we go. Okay, so and then public class, what's it? Client thing that implements upon this client thing contract, and then Alt Enter to get my choice here. Create the interface. Yes, thank you. Put that there, and then I don't know. Can I generate code? Yeah, let's generate some code. You can't put a constructor in a contract. Why? Oh, it's blanked out. Well, let's go down and let's see here. How do we do this? Oh God, IoC and JavaScript. JavaScript seems like the perfect language to do poor man's IoC all the time. Like Pac-Man Jr., thank you for the sub. Kick-ass friend. And also, thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping into the code pit and listening to me rant today. Let's see here. What am I doing? Oh yeah, client. How do you do this? You just want to, let's say we have a string thingy and then a method. Let's hear. What's some stuff you can declare in an interface? You can say like string give me string. Right? Yeah, like that. And then you want to do something like just a method call. Needs to implement this action must exist. Oh, no exclamation point. And then let's give this something. We'll say string interpolate this string. Yes, my naming horrible for an example, but I'm doing it to provide the example. So we have a method that we're going to need to implement that says give me a string, and it's going to return a string with that string interpolated, ideally, right? The interface doesn't tell you how you have to implement it, but you just have to implement it. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, let's do another one here. Public class client says thing I client. There we go. And then what's my alt enter say? Yeah, implement all that. Let's do all of them. There we go. And then this up here, alt enter again, implement missing members. By the way, I'm using JetBrains Writer, which is basically like using ReSharper in Visual Studio. It's got all that awesome power. I don't know if Visual Studio Code, I don't think has any of this type of capability, but it has some refactorings and other cool stuff. So you just have to type all this out. But again, everything's here in the IDE, right? It's in the IDE. So it's able to introspect all this stuff as I type it out, which is why I have the ability to hit alt enter and it gives me all these choices about what I'm likely to need to do right then. Yeah, I think a lot of us have a love-hate with JavaScript. I love it, just like many technical things, but Liu Hang 1997, welcome to the Bosch Pit. I have got to, midstream here, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm hoping next weekend is the beginning of me. I'm going to start actually putting together the music for my stream. Like, I've been promising to do this, but a lot of like personal life shit happened. I was not able to get my room set up with the gear to be able to do it. But I'm going to start writing the metal for my stream on my stream. which is going to be pretty badass. So one of the first things I want to do is write just a cool ass piece. Hey, thanks for the sub. Hell yeah. So like this music that's playing right now, this badass music is all like, I don't remember where I got it, but I paid for the rights to use it because I'm a legit person in that sense. I want to make sure musicians get paid and all that shit. Just like with Pretzel, I use Pretzel because it doesn't ping me every time I have something on the stream, and the musicians actually get paid. So like I pay for a subscription. I want musicians to be paid. I think more musicians should be paid, not just the rich ones, right? The ones that are super famous. Anyway, I'm gonna start doing some of my own music for the stream, and one of the first things I want to do is make little short bits that are just super crunchy and heavy for the sub, for the follow, for all of that stuff, just so that it's definitely unique and definitely mine. It's gonna be Adrian Hall, thrashing code, metal, bits. So that should be fun. Like I said, not this weekend, but the next weekend. I'm going to put it on the event list as soon as I can 100% confirm it. It's going to be badass. So, yeah, thanks for the sub again. And then I don't have to have any keyboard music anymore then either. It can just be all... Or if it's keyboard, it's going to be like keyboard doing legit, super sweet, beautiful instrument. Like actual instrument. I guess some of the 80s keyboards are cool. Whatever, it's all cool, it's all good. It's gonna be my taste. That's what I should say. It'd be to my taste. All right, so we got gimme string, and this action must exist. And then what else? What else can we put in a thing like this? Like what else should I put in this interface? Anybody got some ideas for this goofy interface? One of the things that's definitely different in this type of interface, as in JavaScript, as in C# here, is you create an interface and you might have a whole bunch of methods and stuff. You go to Go, your interface declares basically your signature type of a method. And the convention is to not put a bunch of stuff in it. Have contracts that meet, or contracts that define the functions that will meet that contract very specifically. So Go itself follows a kind of Unix app mentality. It's pretty cool. But okay, let's put in one other thing. I'm gonna say this one is called Grimoire by Dave Case. I'm gonna put that in. Call it Grimoire. I think. Oh, look at that! See, the IDE here even knows like there is 2 implementations, right? So I bet you we start ripping this apart. I put this in another, assembly, and then IoC it. Once we IoC it, it probably won't be able to tell me that anymore. It'll just say some arbitrary crap there. But anyway, so let's add that one. Implement missing members, and implement missing members here. Okay, and this one, let's say return. This is whatever it is, right? So we can say like, this is cool. This action must exist. What should we make this do? Because it's just going to be a void. We can do some weird stuff. Let's do like console.writeLine. Can you even know to see this? Hey? Yeah, right? Like, you don't know where this is going to be implemented, especially once you loosely couple it, and, obligations are, like, you're meeting the contract obligations of this interface right here. But when this is actually instantiated, pulled from the container registry of the IoC container, you don't have a guarantee that this stuff's going to do what it's supposed to do. It could just break stuff all over the place. So anyway. And that's one of those things, too, where you might just say, well, obviously, don't write code that's going to break. But, yeah, okay. Conflict point, right? Grimoire. I'm just going to say console.writeline. This is a solid song, Dave case. And this one is going to say a solid song by Dave Case. We heard on Pretzel. Pretzel? How do you spell pretzel? Yeah, that's right. I lost my where'd my Twitch dashboard go? Oh, everything's so complicated. There we go. Pac-Man Jr., I would say, and ask for different formatting, length, language, and multiple implementations of the interface. Yes, I'm doing multiple implementations of the interface, right? Sorry, it took me a second because my stuff disappeared. Catching up with chat here. So am I trying to sell you on IoC? No. But also, yes. I'm really, I get fussy about it. I get frustrated with it. I think part of my problem with being frustrated with IoC is the vast majority of times that I have used IoC, it's because I've been given a giant project and basically told, figure this out. You need to maintain it, or you need to add a feature, or you need to do whatever. And the thing is, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with being given a hard problem to figure out based on legacy code. IoC makes that harder. And I'll admit a little secret. I'm gonna admit this to all of y'all. This is a weird secret. And it's gonna make me look like I'm 94 years old. I have been giving code COBOL, and somebody said, here, figure this out. This COBOL app had, I don't know, 1 million lines of code. It was an insane amount of code. It was for hospital use. And I'm pretty sure it's probably still in use today in some places. At 1 million lines of code for one person, you can't read that. Period. Full stop. You can't read that. However, based on how COBOL works, how you write COBOL, and what that application did, I was able to read through and determine the business rules and the use case for that application. And I was able to make the edits and the changes that I needed to make and test it and put it into, implement it into production. That's COBOL. COBOL is like 50 years old. It's an old language. And it's been in use for a good 30 years of that, 50 years or whatever. And it's still one of the most widely used or widely executing languages, right? I don't think a lot of people write it anymore, like new applications, but a ton of people still use tools that use COBOL as the language. Anyway, I did that. No IoC, no nothing. Read the code, went through it, figured it out. Barely any documentation. I did that out of college, right? And mind you, I didn't have a bachelor's degree. I had an associate's in computer science and an associate's in music theory. Oh wait, I didn't actually earn the music theory one. But anyway, I didn't even have full algorithms training and stuff at that point. I didn't have patterns and practices. I had my brain and go figure this out. And I did it. But I think back to that time, if I was given an enterprise application with a bunch of IoC stuff, I'd have been like, I quit. I have no clue what to do with this. You have to know too much systemic cruft to go figure it out. So somebody out of college, no chance they figure this out. With COBOL, you go into your little terminal in your CL and you start banging away at it, and then you try to run it, and you bang away at it, and you try to run it. There's very few ways in and out of that situation. With this though, with all the complex IDEs, all the complex interface stuff, just nuts. So no, I'm not trying to sell you on IoC. I'm saying it's a bit more than it needs to be. And if anything, you should do poor man's IoC and keep it where you can actually use the IDE to introspect through the code to do stuff. Yes, I would definitely say 1,000+ lines of COBOL is easier than working with an IoC pattern in .NET when you need to reverse engineer something and determine what you need to do to implement new features. I would say that. On the flip side of that, RPG, which is also an old language, RPG stands for report generating, report generator. Anyway, something like that. It worked in conjunction with COBOL for the reporting side of things. It's crap. It's column-based coding. You can't even read the code right. Anyway, COBOL kind of replaced a lot of that junk. So I'm not actually 94. And when I did COBOL, it was only the late 90s. So it's not like I'm 4,000 years old. But Mississippi was way behind. They got Windows 95 in like 2002. I was already gone though. I don't really know exactly when it was, but you get the idea. All right, so we got our thing there. We implemented that. I'm gonna leave this one broken with an exception being thrown. And this one, let's say let's do return. You get, whoops, that's not you get a string of this you sent me. There we go. All right, so now we have some example pieces. And we can go back here and see about implementing this stuff. So if we did this right now, well, actually, hello world, and then did, like, we know where everything is, so we can say client thing, new thing equals new client thing, right? And then, oh yeah, here's another thing we can do. Just arbitrarily, right? So if we do public client thing to create a constructor and then we pass it a string, this string is special. String, special string. And then let's give it an internal private string, special, whoops. Get out of there. Yeah, you should be able to see it with where I got the light up here, up there. This webcam's too small. I can't point like a normal human being. So yeah, with the light up there and the screen right here, where I have to look at it this way, it should reflect perfectly and then like across it. I did it on purpose. Ha on purpose by accident. So yeah, special. We'll just call it. We'll just call it special. Come on, damn it! There we go. Let's see what's it want to do. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Boom. What did I do wrong? Oh, string. There we go. Okay, so there's something extra, right? It's like extra above and beyond. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sometimes it takes a minute. There's the code. God, I need to automate that too. Just automate it like when I move my face over to here, that it automatically transitions. How do you think I should implement that? Get like a movement sensor? Facial recognition, that would be badass. So get like a facial recognition sensor. up there. Y'all just gave me another idea. Using COBOL, COBOL, COBOL. Yeah, implement facial recognition with COBOL. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, let's hear iClient. Then we did the special thing with the client thing. So if we do this, see, we can now do blah. Oh wait, the special string. Right, and then what do we want to do this? We want to return, this is interpolation. We also have a special string of like that. And then let's print it out right here. Whoops. Come on, autocomplete. There we go. I mean, you just blame me. I'm sure my accent was goofing it up. Implements method from interface. Click to navigate. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. It goes to, it moves you to the bit here. All right, so let's do this now. Let's create class library, and we'll call it our class library of stuff. Keep it 3.0, sounds groovy. And then here, let's see if it'll let me move it. Navigate, inspect, refactor this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Can I do that? No, I gotta move this. Refactor, move class to another file, another folder. Oh, maybe new namespace. Nope, okay. Let's do this. Our library of stuff. Take out this class. Actually, let's delete. Where is it? Oh yeah, edit. Delete this. Then we're gonna come in here. Gonna add this project to the library, then add it as a dependency here. We're gonna call, yep, this one. Okay, so now we have the dependency in this project, in the console project right here. There's nothing in here, but I think this should give us introspection to move this. Folder. Okay, no, it's not gonna let me do that. All right, fine. Manual cruft removal here. The new whatever. Add for this, change that to this. All right, we added that bit. Guess it doesn't like make field. Sure, read only. That's perfect. So you can only pass it in through the constructor then. And this needs that reference added. Perfect. We'll call it our stuff, our class library of loosely coupled stuff. Yeah, there we go. So now client thing. Fixed. All right. And then typo. We'll do this in version of control example. And I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, so that's in a different assembly now. We have our example here, and let's just say console.WriteLine new thing dot give me string. What we gave you. Or let's just say hi-yo, right? And then we got a console dot write. Actually, let's do this. We're just gonna say new thing, and then do one of those other bits. Grimoire, and then new thing dot. This action must exist. Console dot write line. We made it. So if I run that now, we should get all of that stuff. What? Blah, blah, blah. Run our example. By the way, how's the font size? Font size okay? Should I bump that up? It's an IoC example. Like, the most default thing is going to be complex, right? I mean, okay, so far. Yeah, there it is. So it does all the stuff. Special string, we made it. So we know the functionality is there. So far we have a console app, right? That, what is this fussing about? Oh yeah, do that. Sorry, whoops. There we go. So our class is not super complicated, right? Class says thing. Let's change this to what our file actually is, and then let's put this in a library like we should. And then I guess interface can be in here. We'll rename this file appropriately. And then let's talk about the complexity of this example. Client thing. Right? So what we have, there's our interface, our other implementation. Oh, client says thing. All right. And then let's put that in. There we go. So we have two classes and an interface. The interface has three methods, or three contracts to meet, which would be methods. And then we have client thing, and we have client says thing, right? So it's two classes and interface. Because if you have an interface, you should have more than one class that actually, I mean, the point of having an interface is to force classes to meet a contractual obligation. And then be able to like dynamically reference them in a way. So that's kind of the purpose of an interface. So that's why I built two classes. And we only have three methods. So it's a little complicated, but it's not too complex. It could be dramatically more complex. All right. I'll look at a song request. All right. We're taking a song request midstream here. See if we can get pinged on the thing. Am I gonna have to like edit it out afterwards after we listen to it? What is this saliva? Oh, this should be fun, I think. Oh. Is this an Eminem song? I'm digging it so far.
His palms are sweaty, these weak arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's joking how, everybody's joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, overblown. Snap back to reality. This whole rhapsody, better go capture this moment and hope it don't capture. Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Rap metal?
Souls escaping through this hole that is gaping.
Wasn't there a genre for this in the 90s? They just called it rap metal. Programming music, yeah.
A normal life is boring, but superstardom close to postmortem. It only grows harder. Homie grows hotter. He blows. It's all over. These hoes is all on him. Coast to coast shows. He's known as the road trotter. Lonely roads. God only knows. He's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But hold your nose, 'cause here it goes. The cold water. His snowstorm.
Wonder if this will get hit.
He's cold water. They moved on to
Picked
the
up.
next smo who flows. He knows dove and sold nada. So the soul popper is told and unfolds. I suppose it's soul partner, but the beat goes on. Da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da. Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You
I like it.
never let it go. You only get
So, on that note, Robert Tables,
shot, do not miss your chance to blow.
I'm gonna cut that one because I wanna show you this other one. And if all of you have not watched Leo's covers, oh my God, go do it. This dude is freaking unbelievably amazing. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna listen to his cover of the song. He metalized it too. Oh yeah, Frackberg just mentioned that. Exactly. This is insane, the work he puts into this. He does the videos too.
If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip?
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out.
That'd be cool,
Choking
Pac-Man.
out. Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over now. Snap back to reality. Yo, there goes gravity. Yo, there goes gravity. Joe, he's so mad, but he won't give up. That is he know. He won't have it. He knows. He's all back to these roads. He don't matter. He's no. He knows that, but he's broke. He's
Freaking
so
puppets.
stagnant. He knows when he goes back to his mobile home. That's when it's back to the lab again. Yo, this whole rhapsody. Better go capture this moment. Hope it don't. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yeah. The soul's escaping through this soul that is escaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring. The superstardom's close. The postmortem only goes hard. A homie goes hard and blows. It's all over. These souls is all on them. Coast to coast shows. He's known to dog trotter. Lonely roads, God only knows. He's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But all you know's 'cause here goes the cold water. He's all water no more. He's cold body and moved on to the next flow. Who flows his own dope, his own nada. So the soap opera is stolen on fall. I suppose his own partner, but the beat goes on. Da-da-dum. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yeah.
I need pit space. All right, Bobby, what did you just send me?
what you
Yeah.
call rage.
He
Tear
is.
this motherfucking roof off like two dogs cage.
Leo is
I was playing in the
crazy,
beginning,
crazy
the mood
talented.
all changed. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage. But I kept rhyming and stepped right into the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. While the pain inside amplified by
I love that they call it a cipher. That is a good way for the lingo.
right time for life for my family. Cause man, these goddamn food stands are white diapers. And it's no movie, there's no make I Pfeiffer. This is my life and these times are so hard. It's getting even harder trying to feed and water my seed. Plus, tea the tonic got a between beer and the fighter and a prima donna. Leaving mama drama screaming on the too much for me to wanna say what's pop. Another day of monotony's got me to the point I'm like a snail. I've got to formulate a plot. Or into the jail or shot. Success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not. Mama love you, but this trailer's got to go. I cannot go on in Salem's line. So here I go, it's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I've got. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This
Yeah, you notice
opportunity
too,
comes once in a lifetime. Yo.
like Leo is putting out a song a week, like a cover, like a solid cover with video, right? Like all this Muppets and all the other stuff he does every week. That dude is working hard on that. And then he sings it. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's one way to put it. I mean, I guess he was in bands before too, and had like a whole thing going. I'd love to hear more of his original music too. I imagine he has droves of it. Oh man. Let's see, where am I at with this? Also, Bobby, thank you for the link. I have actually seen that, A Mouth for War. That video is awesome. Also, I highly recommend Leo's version of Fucking Hostile. Super rad. They're like it's the hippiest, just happiest song. He just made it so hippie and happy. Very hipster. I could imagine hearing it at Stumptown Coffee on 3rd Ave in Portland. Like one of the freaking hipsterest coffee shops in all of the whole freaking West Coast. That would be a song they play. Then of course they also play like old school Metallica, so it would be perfect. It would be hilarious. Whew. Yeah, that honestly, I'm shocked by how much he's able to produce. Like he is just on it. I mean, he's got to be doing that 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. Crazy bunch of work. But then, of course, it looks like it's paying off. I mean, him and fam just moved into new house in Norway, right? Yeah. Also big envy there. But yeah, just moved into a big new house. They got a big new studio. He did like a tour of the studio. It's beautiful. It's got an amazing set of instruments. Totally well-deserved. And just, he does the videography and the singing and the songs. And then he has other people come in and do stuff with him, which those people are also hugely talented. But yeah. Good job to Leo. If you ever watch one of my videos, that dude kicks ass. Yep. Several videos. It would take several videos to like be able to go through even in a little bit of detail what the heck he's got to be going through. Cause yeah, badass. Yeah. So IoC, inversion of control. Complicated stuff. Yeah. So we have the interface, and we have 2 classes that implement that, and then we have our project that does a thing, right? That's basically printing it all out. We just pretend like all those methods do all sorts of cool stuff that make us millions of dollars. Quality squirrel. I'm all about some quality squirrel. I also noticed that I didn't even play my appropriate I've gotten really bad at doing my transitions. I need to do my transitions. I went and did all the work for them. I had to use them. But yeah, that was perfect. We also need to have more music breaks. Those are perfect disruptions. Alrighty. Yep, Hey, my vlog just finished processing. I'll post that on YouTube later. So if y'all haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, oh God, why is it so hard to get everything in the right place? I lost my browser with what I had notes on. Oh God, why'd I do that? I can talk to y'all. I'm typing text. Yeah, I don't have the social hooked up yet. I need to sit down and really get all that rest of that stuff hooked up. I'm so bad about that. I'll be talking on vid chats too, and I just start chatting in the chat, like in meetings, and then people will be like, "Adrian, you're on. You can just talk." And I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, I forgot." All right, so where are we at here? We want to now pull in. We want to be able to do this. We want to load this. Burp. Like that. So we need to, what is this? I have a component model.container. That's that built-in stuff they have now. What is the built-in stuff? Is that part of MEF? Managed Extensibility Framework? Is that something else? I totally missed that phase where Microsoft put stuff in the system libraries to do actual like full-on inversion control. But anyway, add reference. No, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted manage NuGet packages and do, crap. What is it? Oh, dry IoC. There it is. Oh, geez, which one? MEF attributes, web API. Oh, I probably need to figure out the web API one for later too. So much crap to learn about this. So anyway, dry IoC. And let's put it in here, right? Yeah, that would put it in the example project here. That's what we want. Then we want it. Whoops. Okay. Got that in there. And then is this going to introspect? Ah, yeah. See, now I have choices. Oh, yeah. Look at there. I guess component model.container is implemented similarly to the other thing. And then iClient. What is... What? Why? What? Why is this fussing? Shouldn't I be able to... Incorrect number of parameters. Oh, resolve. Maybe I should do... Yeah, what else do I don't pass in what? Type service type. Dring. I don't know what the dring sound is. What happened to my... It broke my sound. Thanks for the sub, by the way. It played the wrong sound for you. I apologize. I sincerely apologize. Because it should have been metal. I don't know what happened just now. Did Streamlabs go down? Oh, is that what that is? Sweet. So I'm confused by that. I didn't think I had... I guess I have YouTube hooked up then. Oh, computer stuff. All right, so what was I doing? Oh, yeah. So this is... I wanted to see what else I could put in here. So we have a couple things. We got where we can do service type, if unresolved, resolves default non-keyed service from type. Service key, if unresolved. Well, all right, this is the thing that I was working through. It was the thing that he had written up here. Yeah, so then I can do... Oh, I didn't... Derp. What? Ah, there we go. VRS Tom, welcome to the pit. What? Stores factory into container using service type, service key as key for lookup later. What? This factory is the thin wrapper for user provided delegate and will possibly use delegate directly without converting it to expression. Oh, it's the 80s pop metal song. New York Squishy, New York City by Big Giant Circles. Well, these are just warnings, right? Did it? All right, this doesn't seem to be... Why doesn't it show it on GitHub? Oh, I guess this is GitHub. Documentation, there we go. .NET Core context, right? Why not use the standard .NET Core dependency framework? You know what? That's a good question. Let's just do that. Let's see what it says, right? Let's actually take this out. I got stuff, you know, it's there. Why not use it, right? I was using dry IoC specifically because it's in another project that I'm converting, or that I'm trying to port and do various refactorings with on the DataStax Devs channel. So on this channel, I'm building this example, is the reasoning there. So that's really it. That's the pure and simple only reason. But yeah, so I took that out. Let's put in this. There we go. Component model. Oh, now it doesn't have a register. Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, it's hard to know which lib is the best. So Microsoft IoC. Let's take a look at that. Dependency. Well, I don't want it in .NET Core. I just want... I just want to know this. Is that what it is? It is meth then. Okay. It's just system stuff now though. Like in this, oh, that's the Unity one. I don't want to do that. What is meth? What? We could kind of do this, right? See, the export types are there, which I know in other libraries. Yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? You think I should just go with this default route or try the dry IoC thing? So I know the library that I'm trying to, or the other project that I'm trying to convert has a lot of these tags already because dry IoC's tags are very similar to these exports. So this is AOP type design too, where you attribute the class to say export for availability in your dependency injection. Then you use the IoC controller to get it out of the container, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what I might do. Because, yeah, here's the lazy load of the various methods and stuff. Extending simple calculator using a new class. So here's the doc. I'll paste that for y'all real quick if you want to check it out. Yeah, so man, Unity has one. I've never used the Unity one. I've never used Unity, but for like 5 minutes a bunch of years ago. Meth, you can do IoC in Meth, but yeah, like you said, it's not exactly for that. It's for other things. What is this? Dependency injection and .NET Core application. By Gunnar. Get out of here. I want to read your white paper. Double dependency injection, ASP.NET Core dependency injection, and .NET Core console applications. Is this just following the... Yeah, oh god, look at all this. Is this supposed to be a simple example too? There really isn't a simple example. Maybe that's what I need to do, is I just need to work through it until we get down to the minimalist thing. Honestly though, the last time I tried to do this, I did this for a blog entry. And what happened is... Use an auto fact there. Yeah, what happened is I started writing a blog entry. I implemented dependency injection, and then I minimized it to the most minimal amount of code to show what was going on. And what happened was I ended up getting to a point where I'm like, here's a Hello World app. Right? Like I had console.writeLine. Basically, like I got down to the minimalist thing, and I was like, well, there isn't a minimal dependency injection example. You're always trying to do something more than just one simple thing anyway. You've got like 5 key things happening anyway, or 10, or however many. So it's hard to write a really simple example. Autofac. Another container. Yes, 42. 42 things is actually the correct answer, obviously. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, at this point, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get back to this at a later time because it has now hit 12:55. I need to start my DataStax Devs channel stream, which starts at 1 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., I have other meetings I need to get to. So unfortunately, I hope y'all will join me on the DataStax Devs channel in like literally 4 minutes now. I'm going to start. It's got a little 10-minute intro. I'm going to start playing that in just a second. But thanks for all the new follows. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for everything. It's been a great blast getting somewhere. I guess we made some progress on this effort. And watching some music. That was cool. That was super cool. So we'll see how hardcore I get pinged with copyrights whenever I port the VOD, right? Might have to yank it all out. Ha, lols. Anyway, everybody have fun. Happy thrashing code. I'll catch you next time, and we will continue on this effort because I got to get it done. And y'all get to enjoy the benefits of the insanity. In other news, DataStax Devs, y'all go follow it right now and come check me out. I'm going to get started on that right now. So, cheerio.